Join us for our first review of the all-new Land Rover Defender. Subscribe if you haven't done so far, and let's go. Land Rover or Range Rover models nowadays all somewhat look the same in the front especially, but that's not the case for the Defender. The Defender got an own unique look, reminding us a little bit of those angular lines, not as angular as it used to be. Yes, so we have some round shapes right there, but definitely still with an own front face. Also with those round headlamps right there. You can still get the 90 and the 110. This one, of course, obviously the 110, the 5-door version, but it does not correspond to the overall wheelbase. Here, length is 4.75 meters or 187 inches. That means there's a wheelbase of 3.2 meters or 119 inches. And the biggest technology change is there's no rigid axle in the rear anymore. You have both independent suspension. This will give you more comfort. Will also mean less off-roadish, but yeah, I mean, nowadays you can build also good off-road cars with independent suspension. I think that's key. 3.5 tons for the towing capacity, and you can see here in the side profile, this again the 5-door version, pretty much upright, this typical angular Land Rover Defender design, so it also is a little bit different than again to the other Land Rover or Range Rover models. And let me give you some off-road figures. Approaching angle in the front, 38 degrees maximum. Descending angle in the rear, 40 degrees, but that rather accounts for the 3-door version. 90 centimeters of wading depth, and here you can still get the big replacement tire here at the back of the car. Other than that, it's also very distinctive as for the rear design. For example, here with those squircle design elements here in the rear as for the lamps. And of course, this door here will still open in this very distinctive way because the rear tire would be just too heavy to flip it open. So as for engines, the good thing is, whereas all the other manufacturers use strange nomenclature to hide their engine format, here you can really rely on the horsepower figures. So what we have here, we have PHEV, we have also petrol and diesel. So there's a P300, that's also the horsepower figure for the petrol, a P400E with a mild hybrid 6-cylinder. Then there's the P400E with the PHEV, so the plug-in hybrid, and then diesel a D200 and D240. And again, those are also the horsepower figures, so pretty easy to remember in this case. Now to the interior, right there, instead of the doors, we start right there. So soft touch materials right there, and here some screws visible, and this is also this off-road design element. So pretty fancy, definitely. Not too big, those inside door pockets. And then this one is a special bright interior. This has a unique styling. I mean, it's like fixed plastic, but it also adds some rugged character to the car. Then again, those leatherette covers right here and there. Open boxes also again to remind of the old model, and more visible screws. So definitely a different style than we know from other Land Rover or Range Rover models. Also some fabric inserts at those seats. Not sure if it's leatherette or animal skin here. I don't have the overview of all the seating materials available yet, but there will of course be different one available. In the bright color, it fits the car very well actually, at least if you can then live with some stains later on. So this interior does have something which reminds us of the other models, but still has enough uniqueness to be an own Defender style. Getting inside, here there's typical upright seating position. When sitting here, yeah, it is somewhat similar than if you would enter a Land Rover Discovery. But but that's not the bad thing, definitely. Again, this command driving position, pretty long hood, so but what is good is that you all have those upright windows, and so you still have somewhat a good all-around view. Interior overview here with this horizontal stress and a lot of cubby holes right there. The screen here is in demo mode, so we will see different stuff that can be displayed at the moment actually. Then the steering wheel can be moved up and down electronically, and also a little bit inward and outward again. All digital instruments, they are in the middle part, and you can see when they're shut off, everything is just black or dark. Let's see if we can turn the demo mode right on again. Those ones here are not visible buttons, so to say. They have clicking sound. There will be also buttons here for the cruise control. This will be illuminated then when the car is properly powered on. On the left side then, for example, for the volume control. Some of the materials I'm not quite certain of, so it's a very expensive vehicle, and from some build quality stuff I would expect then a little bit more. There we have demo mode again here for this camera, especially for the off-road camera, all-around view. Then you also can see the inclination and so on. This will be pretty cool. Now to the biggest advantage of the 5-door version. Yeah, of course, you can easily access the rear compartment. Again, the visible screw design element. Same as in the front, we also have those soft touch materials at the rear doors on the inside. And then some reasonable space here for the rear bench, because everything is built in an upright character, so you don't lose too much length, also as for the legroom and so on. Let's also test that. It's getting inside right here. And there's ample of space, and probably also the best package for the Land Rover or Range Rover cars, because it's not the longest Land Rover or Range Rover we have here, but surely one with the most legroom. So I really like that approach. See here the lower floor raises just a little bit. Then you can add an infotainment system right there, or there's also USB supply. And it's really cozy to sit here in the interior, also in a very upright way. Headroom is also plentiful with 1.6 or 6.1. Then let's open this rear hatch. Here we go with this side opening. Pretty fancy. And wow, a lot of space, square dimensions, and with a nice floor cover. We already flipped the one side. Of course, you can do the very same with the other one. And pretty rugged ground here. Yeah, I mean, it might be prone to scratches, yes, but I cannot get that up myself at the moment just like that. So, very interesting area right here. The all-new Land Rover Defender, we end our today's review of this one here. Interesting, they kept a very iconic style also on the exterior. It's of course totally different from the outgoing model, yes, but it has an own distinctive style also if you compare other Land Rover or Range Rover models from the lineup. So I think it's a really interesting car, and maybe a new competitor to the Mercedes G-Class, for example. And the Jeep Wrangler is of course also a unique one, so very rare and unique cars there on the market. The good thing is, because of this angular design on the exterior, we have a lot of space on the interior. The best package from all Land Rover cars. That's pretty cool. So you can use a lot of the space you have. Then there are also, for example, those new PHEV engines available if you want to go a little bit more sustainable. Sustainable materials, we have to see about that. Of course, abundance of cow leather use here on the display cars. The quality of the interior materials is sometimes very good, so like those visible screws, those are cool elements, all those rugged elements. On the other hand, there are some parts which are, not living up to the price of the car, which is extremely high, 50 to 90k, and that's of course my biggest criticism point with the car. Yeah, the G-Class is also very expensive, but from this rather off-roadish car, I would also expect to be a little bit cheaper and a little bit more affordable. Off-road use will be also quite cool, so it will still be also among the most capable Land Rover vehicles, also if you think about approaching areas, and not only the 5-door, especially about the 3-door. So, a lot to discuss with this vehicle. Please join us there in the comments. I hope you enjoyed also this part here.